I love that big oak tree outside the window right there. Beautiful. I love my view out this window here. I really like where I put this shed. Now what I'm going to talk about today is, as the title says, a CDL permit. So what that's called then, you know, I've been calling it a CDL permit, but what it's called is a commercial learner's permit. So CLP, I guess, is what it's called. That's a commercial learner's permit. But anyways, got it today, and very thankful for it as well. What I want to talk about today was the CDL permit. I didn't honestly know if I was going to pass or not when I went today. And so I've been studying on and off for probably around a week or so now, maybe even longer than that. But it's been, like I said, it's been on and off. Like I may have went 4 or 5 days without studying at all and then try to study for a few hours or something like that. And so last night, my appointment was to get my CDL permit, or CLP, commercial learner's permit, was this Monday. It's Wednesday now. So I ended up calling on Monday before the test and asked them if I could reschedule because I was still studying it. And I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable going. I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel like I knew the answers yet, because these are long tests. And which there's a lot more questions too, though, than are on the test that you'll go through. And it's random, so you don't really know which ones are going to be on the test and which ones aren't. I guess it's randomly picked. I'm not sure how that works, but like, so there's general knowledge, there's air brakes, and then there's combination vehicles. And as far as the general knowledge goes, I believe that's the longest test, but I believe it's also the more common sense questions. And so there were 50 questions on that one. I'm in Kentucky, but there were 50 questions on the general knowledge. You have to get 40 of those right on general knowledge. You can't. You have to get at least 40 of them right. And the thing, so that means you can miss up to 10 on that test as far as I know. You can't miss any more than that. I think I missed 2 on that test, if I'm not mistaken. 1 or 2, maybe just 1 actually. But I studied a lot, like I said. So by the time I went today, I felt a lot more confident. So one thing I would say is, if you're not confident right now and you're wanting to go get your CLP or a commercial learner's permit, don't go yet. I mean, put it off, call them and reschedule and say, hey, can I put this off for a couple days or maybe even a week, however long it takes you before you feel comfortable. Because I'll tell you one thing, when I was there today, there was me and there was a woman in there trying to get one. And I think 2 more men in there, 2 or 3 more men. And well, the first one I heard was the woman who had failed. I think she maybe passed a test, one of the tests. Maybe she passed general knowledge, but failed the brakes, air brakes. And then the man, I heard him kind of speak up, and he said, I'm finished. And they make you do them on a tablet too. So that's how we did it anyways. They gave us a tablet and we would just kind of touch the screen and pick the answers. They're multiple choice, but he had his tablet and he said, yeah, I think I'm done with this. And she said, okay, did you pass? And he said, no, it says I failed miserably. And when I heard him say that, I was thinking, oh no. So, and then the girl had passed, or had failed before him. And anyways, I was on general knowledge, you know, and as I said, most of those are kind of more common sense on general knowledge. Now, as far as the air brakes and combinations, if you've never been a trucker, lots of those things will be completely foreign to you. They'll be completely unfamiliar to you. You'll never even heard of some of those things. And so that's why I tried to study. And what I'm going to do is there's 3 apps that I downloaded on my phone, which are free, all of them. One of them, though, I think one of those apps you have to pay maybe to do some of the tests, but I didn't really use the app very much either, and I don't think you need to. And then there's also some YouTube videos on each of those tests. They're about, the general knowledge is about an hour long, the video, and then there's a couple more videos as well. I want to try to keep this video kind of short. This is mainly for people that are looking to try to get a commercial learner's permit. And I'm just going to kind of give you my advice on it. But I'm going to show you those videos, and I'm going to show you what the channel's called as well on YouTube. And I would recommend watching those videos and maybe even watching them numerous times. General knowledge is the longest one, and I think it's around an hour, that video is. And then there's air brakes and combinations. I think combinations may be the shortest. I can't remember. One of them is about 26 minutes. The other one's about 36 minutes. So you've got, 2.5 hours or so of videos to watch. But my recommendation before you even do any of the practice test is to watch all of these videos. I would watch all of these videos, or at least, you know, like say you're going to do general knowledge, I would watch the general knowledge video and then go do the general knowledge test on your phone and see how you do on it. And do it as many times until you feel comfortable with them answers, until they're kind of ingrained in your mind pretty well, you know, because some of the answers are kind of similar. But if you type that, you use that answer for the wrong question, you know, you'll be wrong, even though it sounds kind of like another question. The answers are kind of similar and the questions are kind of similar. You don't really have a whole lot of error room there. But if you study, like this is my first time ever doing it. They asked me today when I went in, they said, are you returning, are you trying the test out again or something like that? I said, no, this is my first time. And so I passed it on my first time. I passed the general knowledge, the air brakes, and the combination vehicles. Passed all of them. And now I'm not like in a school or anything like that. Like my cousin, he paid for his, if I'm not mistaken. I think he paid around $5,000. And in the program that he was in, they help you with your permit. Like I guess you go over it with them, and they teach you about it for I'm not sure how long, until you get comfortable with it, and then they help you to get it. Well, I've done this on my own, you know. I just kind of got online and looked it up on YouTube and took some other people's advice. And what I'm telling you is kind of their advice, and then maybe a little bit more as well that I did. As far like for those videos, for instance, you know, some of the people I seen on YouTube, they would talk about the apps, but they didn't really mention videos, and some of them did. But I would highly recommend those videos, because that's what really made me confident to go today, was when I watched those videos. And even on the way there today, I let the video play and just listen to it on my phone while I was driving there, because it was about a 45-minute drive from my home. And so when you show up too, before you even get your CLP, you're going to have to get your DOT physical done. So you'll go to like your doctor's office, you know, your local doctor's office, wherever you go, you know, if you go to a doctor or whatever. I don't go very often. Me and my wife, my kids go to the same one. But I hardly ever go there. That's the first time I've been in years. And they even asked me, they said, what's your family doctor? And I said, well, I guess this is it, you know, because my wife and kids come here. So I went there, did the DOT physical. And then that's something you have to bring with you, is the medical certificate. So they'll give you a medical certificate with that DOT physical. It should be 4 pages that they fill out, and then a medical certificate. And you'll have to bring that with you. You have to have that, they told me. I didn't know that. I even when I called them to schedule this, I asked them, I said, so what all do I need? And they said, just your driver's license. You have to bring that with you. And that has to be up to date as well. They said, just your driver's license. And I said, okay. And so I get there 45 minutes away, and then she says, no, you've got to have that medical certificate. And I said, well, I wish somebody would tell me that, because I specifically asked, you know. Thankfully, they were able to fax it over. And even after that, or wait, my wife took a picture of it at home and sent it to me. And then after that, then she got to looking at it, and she said, well, they didn't sign their signature on it. The nurse didn't, or doctor, whoever, they didn't sign their signature. So I had to call my doctor's office, explain to them what happened. Then they signed it and faxed it over. And after they faxed it over, she got it printed out, gave it to me, and I had to sign it. And so what I went over when I first got there, I walk up to this desk, and this girl kind of takes my name and everything. I had an appointment there at 1:45 p.m. I'll go ahead and pay her for the test itself. Yeah, the test I think was $24 here in Kentucky, around $24 maybe, and a little bit of change. So around $24 for the test, and then she sends me over to this other woman, and that's the one who, you know, told me I needed the medical certificate and everything. So after I sat down with her, you know, she asked me a few questions and everything. They take your picture at the beginning. You answer some basic questions, not there long. What made me be there so long was having to get my medical certificate. So make sure you bring that with you if you go. Make sure you have your medical certificate with you. But anyways, so after I got the medical certificate taken care of and all that, then she said, okay, now it's the test. Now it's your permit test, you know. And so I go to this room. There's a green line there. She told me to wait at the green line. And she gave me a piece of paper to take in there with me. I go in, give this woman my piece of paper. She tells me to sit down, and they've got a little vision test you do right there. So you stick your head down on this thing, and then they ask you some questions, like they ask you to read this line off this line. They ask you to read the colors. If you pass that, then you continue from there, and that's when they ask you what test you're taking. So I was going for my CDL A. So the test that I was taking was general knowledge, air brakes, and combination vehicles. And general knowledge was the first one I took. So I get over there, passed it at the very end. And the thing is, there's 50 questions on general knowledge. But it tells you right at the bottom, like it'll say, right answers, wrong answers, and here's a very good tip. Some other people said this, and this is very important. It helped me a lot. It might have even made a difference of whether I failed or not. But there's a skip option available as well. And so say you've got 50 questions, on that test. You only have to get 40 to get right. So say there's 5 of them on there, you just don't know. You can skip all of those, and what it will do is bring another question to you. You don't get it wrong when you skip it. But on some of those tests, eventually I got to a point to where the ones I had skipped came back to me. And I didn't have much of I had to answer them at that point. So some of them, I wasn't as confident on them, but I tried to answer them to the best of my ability. And I ended up passing. But what I would recommend is anytime you're not sure, just skip it. Skip it. Just click skip. It won't mark it wrong. It will just skip it. And if nothing else, say you get, you have to have 40 right, and you're to 38, so you need 2 more, and you've skipped all of them already. Well, there's 2 more there that you'll have to get. You may have to do again that you've skipped already. So and you're going to have to get at least 2 more right if you're at 38. You have to get 40. Once you hit 40 right answers on general knowledge, at least in my state, once you hit the amount that you need, and it tells you at the bottom down there how many you need to pass. And once I hit 40, the test was over. It didn't take me, I didn't have to get 41, 42. Once you hit 40, it's over. And then I think air brakes and combination vehicles, I think both of those were 20 questions each. So it was a total for me of 90 questions. But the thing is, you don't have to answer 90 because you just have to get a certain amount. So I think it's 16 you have to get right on the ones with 20 questions. You have to get 16 right, so you're only able to miss 4 on those. So that would equal out to 72 that you have to get right out of 90. For me, anyways, in Kentucky, that's how it was. You have to at least get 72 out of 90 right altogether. But the tests are all different too, because you can pass general knowledge and still fail, combination vehicles, or you can still fail air brakes. So what I would recommend is just study though. Do these apps. These apps that I'm going to put on here, I'm going to show you them, what they're called, and I'll show you the 2 that I use the most. One of them I didn't even really use very much at all. I'm going to put them on here, and I'll show you kind of how I did it. And what happens is, once you get the question wrong on there, they'll mark it in red, but it'll make you keep taking that test over and over. It'll bring you back to them wrong ones you got until you get the right answer, and then it will even, when you get it wrong, it will explain why. It will explain what the right answer is and why it's the right answer. So it's very helpful. But this is something too that you don't need to study it for a week and then 2 or 3 weeks later go and take your test. You need to study, and then shortly after you're studying comfortable, you need to go on in and take it, because these aren't things I feel you're going to retain in your mind very easily if it's not something you're doing, if you're not doing this. So shortly after you go ahead and do your studying, I would as soon as you feel confident in your mind, okay, I've got this in my mind, I remember these, go on in and take your test. But don't go on until you feel comfortable, and that's my recommendation to you. Because I believe if I would have went in Monday, I would have failed at least 1 or 2 of them tests. General knowledge, I feel I did. I think I got 1 wrong on that. Altogether, I missed 3 questions out of all of those that I had to do. And I was so happy, at the end. I was so happy after I passed that last one. I was thinking, wow, this is my first time I passed this. I'm on to the next step. I've been waiting for this opportunity to finally do this. And now I think maybe this Monday, if I'm not mistaken, this Monday, I'm hoping it will be this Monday. She said she has to see if she can get me in, because they only do this on Monday, the start of their training, as she told me. But I'm hoping this Monday I'll either be going to Indiana or Wisconsin. And they said that depends on whether I want to do flatbed trucks or maybe containers, I think they call them. Like the big box trailers, semi-trailers. But so I don't know even which one to do. I haven't really even decided. I'm probably going to have to look into that on my phone a little bit more. They said the flatbeds pay more, but I think there's more to them too, I'm sure there is, because you've got stuff you've got to lock down or strap down and all of that. And I don't know if that's no touch freight, or I honestly don't know. Mike of the North, if you see this video, you may not see it, but if you do, if you could maybe give me your recommendation on what you think I should do as far as starting out, if I should do flatbeds or containers. My cousin's doing the containers, just the big box trailers. But I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. If you recommend anything, I'll definitely take that into consideration, because I know you've been doing it for a long time, Mike. If you do see this, if you happen to see this, Mike of the North, he's somebody to check out. If you like trucking, check out Mike of the North. He's been doing it for a long time, and I've noticed he's been putting more videos. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a really nice truck too. But anyways, it's such an accomplishing feeling when you get this thing. I mean, I was so happy because I sat there and watched these people fail, and it was in my mind, oh no, you know, these people are failing, and you know, same thing may happen to me, and I really don't want this delayed. This is a 45-minute drive for me. You know, it costs money every time you do it. I want to go on and get this thing done so I can get my training started soon. Cat up there. I want to get my training started as soon as possible. And sure enough, I passed. And when I went and told the woman, she said, wow, that's rare. She said, we don't have people very often pass all 3 of them on their first try like that, which kind of surprised me when she said that. But anyways, as I said, I didn't go to any school to learn this stuff. I just studied on my own. So if I can do it, I believe you can too if you study right. So if you're looking to get your CLP, your commercial learner's permit, I highly recommend some of this advice that I'm going to add in, you know, after this talking here, which will be studying these apps and studying them pretty consistent. And what I had to do, you know, I've got 4 kids and my wife, so what I was trying to do is I'd either have to go where I could get quiet somewhere, like out here in my shed or in my van or whatever, or I would have to just stay up at nighttime when they're sleeping, because for me, I couldn't hardly focus, you know, when I heard my kids playing and stuff like that. My wife's cleaning and stuff and cooking. It was hard to focus, you know, with that noise. So for me personally, I needed quiet, you know, where I could go and study, and because there's lots of questions, there's a lot to this, and there's things that you're not going to know the first thing about them very likely if you've never done this before, and even if you have, if it's been a long time ago for you, you probably still won't know much about them, because the one guy there that said he failed miserably, I think he had drove a truck years ago, and from what he said, but the woman said, so you didn't look at your manual. And that's something I never did. I never even looked at a manual. I just studied the apps and then watched the videos. But they go over the exact questions that were in the apps and on the videos that I watched were even word for word in that test that I took today, in the test that I took today. So I highly recommend watching the videos too, because those helped me a whole lot. And what I would do though, I would watch the videos first, maybe watch general knowledge first, then do the general knowledge practice test. And then do the air brakes practice test. Watch air brakes, then do the air brakes practice test. Watch combination vehicles, then do the combination vehicles practice test. And then after you do all the tests, I would keep doing them until you get comfortable with them, until you pass them consistently. And then I'd watch the videos again, honestly. I'd watch the videos again after that. Because it takes a while to retain this stuff if you don't know much about it. And I think for men it's kind of easier because we kind of know mechanical things a little bit more better than women and stuff. So some of those things may come to us a little easier, but it's still not easy to a man either if you've never done this stuff, because lots of these things you'll never have heard of probably unless you've ever been a driver before. And as I said, that one guy was, but he still failed it miserably, he said. So, and he said when the woman asked him, she said, so you didn't look at your manual? And he said, I'll be honest, ma'am, I didn't even look at it. And so it's studying, I feel, is very important. I don't know if the tests used to be different. I'm guessing they probably were, but now I feel like those are tests you definitely got to study for to pass. But I wish you the best on your test. I hope you get it. And anybody that's getting into this, I believe this is a good career and everything. And I'm excited about it myself. I'm 31 years old. You know, I've got my CLP now, my commercial learner's permit. Now the next thing is getting my CDLA license, you know. That's the next go. And honestly, I'm pretty confident, more confident with that than I was with this test. You know, I'm better with hands-on stuff than I am with written stuff. With certain written things, I'm pretty good at too. But this, honestly, it just takes studying and retaining the stuff. Quite a bit of studying. And that's something I had to make myself do because I never have liked that a whole lot. So I had to make myself do it. But make sure you study for this. But I wish you the best with it. I truly do. I'm going to go on and get off here, and then I'm going to show you, what I'm going to do is show you clips of the apps that I was talking about and the YouTube channel that I watched. And I would highly recommend that channel. The only thing is, on the general knowledge, there's a few answers on the general knowledge that they mark them as the right answers on one of these videos, but they're actually the wrong answers. And you can look down in the comments, and some of the people even mention it right at the top of the comments. So watch those few answers that they actually in this video say are correct, and they're not correct. Even the app contradicts their answers. You know, it's if you mark what they call correct on these, you'll get it wrong. So definitely watch those. But other than that, you know, all of them for the most part was right from what I could tell. So it helped me a lot. And I seen other people in the comments, and they were saying, yeah, I watched this video. I had failed this test, and then I watched this video and went back and passed it after watching this video. And they were saying thank you and stuff. It is a legit video. I can tell you that for sure after doing the test myself. So I'll show you the YouTube channel and the videos, and I highly recommend watching those as many times as it takes for you to memorize these things. Write them down, take notes, whatever you got to do. This is a huge step for anybody. I was so happy when I got this thing. I mean, I was in that classroom and I was one of the last ones left in there because those people went in before me, some of them, and some of them failed, so they went out quicker than me as well. But I was one of the last ones in there, and I almost felt like shouting. I was so happy. After I figured out I passed them all, I was standing there thinking to myself, oh man, I'm so happy. As I said, I almost felt like shouting, but yeah, it's a huge move for me and my family right here. I'm a guy who's done landscaping for the last 5 years, as many of you know that watch me, but as some of the people that watch this video may not know, probably don't know. I'm a landscaper and sell firewood in the wintertime, and that's what I've done for the last 5 years to make a living. But I've decided to make a bigger move and this I believe will be a big, huge career change in a good way for me and my family. And as I said, I've mentioned this before. This is something that I'm not sure I'll do my whole life. To be honest, I got a family, 4 kids, so unless I can get something to where I'm home a whole lot more, or even every night, eventually, then it's probably nothing I want to do forever or my whole life. But it's something that I definitely plan to do for years, at least at the beginning. And I'm hoping to either be an owner-operator in this eventually, or move from this to driving a tow truck, because I've got somebody that's married into my family, and he's done really good with that for a long time. But if I can be an owner-operator and I enjoy it, and then I may just stick with it. Who knows? I'll have to get into it and see. I'm a young man still. There's lots of opportunities out there. I just want to provide for my family, and not only that, but I've got other goals as well. And this job right here is perfect, just from the income alone, and the things that it provides in the long run. To meet those goals, I believe. So this was a huge step for me today. I thank God for it. I'm very happy. I was so excited. I texted my wife and told her, texted my mom while I was sitting in there, my brother, my cousin that's driving. I texted all of them and told them about it. But anyways, I hope you pass. If you're watching this video for this reason, which I would guess many of you are, for your commercial learner's permit, then I wish you the best with it. I hope that God blesses you in it, and I hope that if that's what you want, that you have a successful career in it. But anybody that's watching this, I wish you the best with it. Hope that God blesses you in it. Hope that you pass it on your first try. And if you study right, you do have to study hard. I believe that you will. So I'm going to go ahead now and add those apps, and I'm going to add the YouTube channel as well. I wish you the best with it. If you got any questions, you can comment down below and ask me the questions. If this video ended up helping you, you can comment down below and let us know that you got yours, and maybe if you've got any tips, in your particular state or whatever, leave that down below for somebody else, and let's try to help one another. That's what it's all about. Be safe and God bless. Here's a screenshot of the apps I used, the blue and red CDL prep apps there. I wouldn't even mess with DMV Genie. And so here's one of the apps, what it looks like there. You see there's different levels to the test. And when you get them wrong, it'll show you right here in red, and it'll give you the correct answer and explain why it's correct, so it's very helpful. Here's what it looks like when you get the answer correct. As you can see, it's on level 3 there. Here's a different app, the other CDL prep app. This is my average score right there. Here's the questions, and then I'll show you what it looks like in here when you get it right or wrong. There's when you get it wrong, and see, it shows you, it highlights the right answer in green. This here is the YouTube channel I recommend. But you need to look up the specific test on that channel, Driving TV. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to also put it on the screen here. And then after you type in the channel name, you can type in general knowledge, air brakes, or combinations to watch the video separately.
What is the IPDE method of driving? Identify, predict, decide, execute. Which of these statements about using mirrors is true? There are blind spots that your mirror cannot show you.
Oil and water usually collects in compressed air tanks. If you do not have an automatic tank drain, when should you drain the air tanks? After every working day.
When should you use the hand valve to park a combination vehicle? Never. Which answer is correct for the air valves when testing the trailer service brakes only? Service brake off, parking brake off, trailer air supply in, open, and trolley applied.